I'm going to go ahead and start the demonstration process for how to install GoldenGate 12c on Oracle Database 11g. Over here I have two separate nodes. The first one is Oracle GoldenGate 1, OGG1, and the second one here is OGG2. I've just made these in VirtualBox, so I'm actually going to go ahead and start up both of the nodes here through the VirtualBox manager. Okay. Also, what I want to show you is we're going to use a couple of information pieces over here so that way you guys can follow along. Alright, so node 1 is called OGG1. Node 2 is called OGG2. Okay? And here are the IP addresses. Actually, we have to wait for it to come up. And it's 1.1. Okay? 10.0.0.13, 10.0.0.11. Alright. Okay, we are logged in. Same thing goes for this one right here. We are logged in. Alright, and I've installed two separate databases, database 11g on both nodes. And they're called, this one is called GG1. The Oracle SID is GG1. And this one is again GG2. So these are the preliminary steps for both databases. So I'm going to set the Aura environment, set it for GG1, and do the same thing here for GG2. If you have your own bash profile set up, you can use that. Again, it really depends on how you guys have set it up yourself. So you don't have to set Aura environment if you have your bash profile already set up. I've installed these two databases basically out of the box, so they're clear, nothing installed on them, like there's nothing, no information, no application installed on this database. The only thing that I have is the sample schemas. So I would recommend, for the purpose of testing and for the purpose to just install it, have some sample schemas so you can go ahead and create tables from those sample schemas, like the Scott schema or the employee schema, so that way you can have some data you can play around with. Alright, so let's actually go ahead and log into these databases. As you can tell that they're both currently idle. I haven't started those two databases up yet. So that's the first thing we're going to do is start up. And the second thing is we need to check if archive log is enabled. In order to do GoldenGate, you have to make sure that archive log is enabled. If it isn't, pretty much simple as that, you have to enable it. So I've already enabled it, so if you want to check to see if it's enabled, you can run select log mode from sys v $database. Alright, so both the databases are opened, and we'll do select log mode from sys $database. And it says archive log. If it's in no archive log, what you'll have to do is you'll have to issue shutdown immediate, and then you'll do startup mount, and then the second command will be alter database archive log, and it'll say database altered. Once you've done that, you'll have to alter database open to go ahead and open it up. And that goes for the same thing on the secondary database or the target database. It has to be an archive log. So before I actually even install GoldenGate, I'm going to set up the database parameters, set the settings a little bit differently for logging to be enabled. That way we can have some of the prerequisites done before we even get into the install of the GoldenGate software. So the first thing is we want to enable supplemental log data. So there's a way you can check to see if it's already enabled. Sometimes it might be. So what you want to do first is you want to go ahead and run a query to basically check to see if it's enabled or not. So what we'll do is called forced supplemental log data. So if you do this, we'll do so first we'll have to do force logging, okay? And that's a pretty simple command. If you do select force logging from the $database, it checks the parameter if it's on. Okay, force logging, okay. That way we can enable that, and since, like I said, I already know that these two databases don't have it enabled, I'll enable it on the second one as well. Okay, second thing you want to do is enable supplemental logging. And that command is alter database add supplemental log data. So we'll do alter database add supplemental log data. Sorry, so we have to do alter system switch log file. So we have to switch the log file before we start adding the supplemental log data. Okay, so both of those are enabled now too. Next thing you want to do is you want to create the test user and the test tables. So basically what we're going to do over here is we're going to have some, so the user I want to call, this is the GoldenGate test user, okay? GoldenGate test user. Basically this is the persons from which we are replicating the schema from, if that makes sense. So we're gonna map the target, or from the source we're gonna map the schema from the source here from this user, and we're going to basically replicate it on the target node from this user as well. So I'm just going to put some credentials over here so that way we have a little cheat sheet so you guys don't get lost. We're going to we're going to create the user GG test. Password is going to be, if we just do, let's do user ID. Alright, user ID is GG test. And we'll have the password the same. We'll have GG test for the password. Okay? And the table we're going to create is going to be called test. We'll just call it test for now, with no capital T, just test. Alright, so let's create the user, GG test, identified by GG test, and we're going to grant some of the privileges to him. Grant resource, DBA, and connect to the user. Okay? Can't type today. DBA connect to GG test. Alright. Same thing we want to do over here. Again, on the second node, this is the target server. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So this will be the source, and this will be the target. Okay? And let me put this somewhere for you guys to see all the time. I'm gonna minimize this a little bit, and let me bring that over here. Okay. So that should be a little bit better. So that way you guys can follow along constantly without getting confused. Alright. Alright, we created the user for the second node, and we're going to grant privileges to that user. Grant, again, resource, connect, and DBA to GG test. Messed it up. This is what happens when you try to type too fast and you make errors. So let's try it one more time. Okay. Alright, so we have the user created and we're ready to go. Next thing you want to do is create the test table. Alright. So the reason why we do this, like I said, we have the table test that I mentioned over here. So we have the user created and now we're going to create the table. The reason why we're going to do this is you want to have a standard before you start doing any replication. Right now, for the purpose of the demonstration, what we want is to have a simple replication from the source to the target. So I'm going to create a table test1, or just test, and we're going to select the data from the Scott EMP table. Alright, and if you look, this has, let's see how many, it has 14 rows. And we're going to do the same thing on the second database as well, on the second node. So we're going to do, again, create table test and the data we're going to get from scott.emp. Alright, and let's just, I know it's the exact same, but for the sake of showing you, you have 14. Alright, so that's ready. What we want to do now is just make sure that the listener is up. So this is not up, so we're going to do lsnrctl start. Okay, and let's check this out as well. And it's not up because I just started it when we, at the beginning of the video, so we're going to start that up as well. Okay, let me clear this out, make it a little bit better to see. Alright, so now we've created two tables on two separate nodes called test. So now we are ready to install the GoldenGate software. So I only need to extract this software once because the folder is shared between two nodes. But in any case, what I want to do is show you, it's a very basic, simple installation. So this is what you have when you download the software. You're going to get what's called FBO GGS Linux 64. Again, since this is 64-bit, it's going to say 64, and this is 12c and 12.1.0, 12.1.2 is the GoldenGate version. So let's go ahead and unzip this first. Okay, and what it unzipped was this folder right here. You have the directory, and it also is going to unzip this readme text and the release notes, the PDF and the text file. So these three things are going to basically be extracted from the zip file. So you want to go into FBO, and you want to go into disk 1. Okay. So now if you look, you have install stage 1 installer. This is what we want to do, is you want to invoke the run installer. I don't have X11 set up on this environment, so I have to jump on over here and do it from here instead. Alright, run installer. Okay, so now it's going to run the installer. So it asks you to select this database select the database for this Oracle GoldenGate installation. So it already recognizes it's for Oracle, so it gives you two options for 12 or 11. So this is 11G, so we're going to hit next. And here is the here's the software location. So it's going to be under 12.1.2, and it's already recognized where the database is. So this is very crucial. You need to make sure that your environment's already set up before you do the installation. If you don't have Aura environment set up, or if there's no bash profile with the database location or the Oracle home, it's going to throw out a problem, or you have to manually enter it. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this as is, hit next. And you'll see that the port number, the manager port number is 7809. So which is fine. We're going to go ahead and install it. Alright, and I'm going to leave this on for now. We're going to do the same thing on the second node as well, so that way we don't waste much time. Okay. Okay, so I have two install wizards running right now on both of the nodes. All right, I'm gonna let this go ahead and go through, and if I might just skip the process because it's a little bit lengthy, so which is fine. I might just skip the process for this, so that way you guys can know. But anyway, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just install it on both nodes, and you'll be fine. Both of the software has been installed and it is ready. All right. So the next thing you want to do is you want to create the GoldenGate schema owner. All right. This is the person that's going to be responsible for the GoldenGate schema. I'm going to show you how to set that up as well. So all of the objects and everything that GoldenGate utilizes in order for it to do the replication process, we need an individual schema for it. So we're going to create the schema and the table space for it. So we're going to do create user GG owner identified by. Okay. Do the same thing on this. And we're going to call it GG owner. Password GG owner. Okay. And we have to grant some of the privileges to that user. Alright. I want to go ahead and create a table space. So you're going to have to do a little bit of digging to find out where your data file is, but usually it's under Aura data. So you have the data file for 01 app, Oracle Aura data. Then we have GG1 because that's the SID, and we'll do GoldenGate 01.dbf. You want the size to be 100. Make sure auto extend is on. Okay, so auto extend is on. While that's being created, I'll do the same thing on the other database. Okay, and it's taking a little bit of time, so there you go. And we're going to alter the GG owner default table space GoldenGate. So we'll assign the default table space for GoldenGate for the user. So let me put that down. Create table space GoldenGate. Before I start jumping in, I want to give you a kind of outline of what it is. Let me go ahead and just assign the user this default table space. Okay, so there's two things. You have a source and you have a target. Okay, so in a source you can have many extract processes. In this particular demonstration, the source is going to have two processes. It's going to have two extract processes, and those extract processes are called pump, and you have extract. All right, and the target, you have one replicate process. And both of these have manager processes at the top. So what happens is the extract process basically extracts from the redo log file and it pumps it through and sends it to the replicate process. Simple as that. The pump process basically calls upon a remote trail file that's located in the target. The replicate basically takes the remote trail file and replicates it and converts the replicate file into SQL and writes the SQL into the database. That's how the replication takes place. The extract again reads or recognizes the changes that are made and writes it into what's called an extract file. So we're going to call this ext, and we're going to call this RT, or remote trail. Or we'll just call it EX, extract and remote trail. That's it. So you can have, in any given environment, you can have multiple pump processes, multiple extract processes, and multiple replicate processes within your database. You can have a lot of conditions set in order to do replication, and these are where the extract processes actually take into place. So for the purpose, again, for the demonstration, is we're going to go ahead and edit these three things right over here: the pump, extract, and the replicate. The manager process is basically what needs to be turned on in order for these rest of the processes to work. It manages the GoldenGate. So let me exit out of this, and let's go ahead and go in to Oracle GoldenGate Command Line Center. So we're going to go app Oracle product. And a new product has been installed, 12.1.2, and OGG core is going to be the home directory for the GoldenGate. Okay, this is how you run. It's called GGSI, and I think it stands for GoldenGate Command Interpreter. Command Interpreter. Basically, it's like SQL Plus, but for GoldenGate. When you first install this, you don't have any of the processes. You only have the manager that's running. That's it. You only have the manager, and that's running by default. So you have to configure it in order for GoldenGate. So the first thing you want to do is you want to edit the parameters for globals. Okay. So you want to have, let's do GG schema, GG owner. Okay. And you want to do the same thing on the basically you want to tell GoldenGate where you have the GoldenGate owner schema that you've created. We can do SQL plus, and we just have add role setup.sql. Okay. GoldenGate schema name, and it'll be GG owner. And this is actually really crucial that you want to have a user that's specifically set up for GoldenGate operations settings. So you want to have, just as you have a database administrator for database, you want to have a GoldenGate owner or GoldenGate administrator, you would say, to control all of the GoldenGate processes. All right. So let me go back into GGSI. It's GGSCI. That's how you log into it. Alright, so let's go ahead and set up some of the parameter files. So we're going to do edit params, and we're going to call it ext. Let's just call it extract. Okay. So what we're going to do over here is, first of all, you need to have the first thing. It's called an extract process. So you need to have extract typed first, and then the name of the extract process. Because I wasn't very clever, I just named it extract. So this will be different. It'll be basically whatever the name of the particular extract is. You can have it called whatever you want. So I'm sorry for the confusion. Alright, we're going to type in some of the login credentials, and we're going to do GG owner, and the password will be GG owner. Okay. So this is going to be where we're going to write the log into a trail file. So this directory right here, dirdat, already exists. So we're going to just do xtrail and then have dirdat /et. Or let's do ex. Okay. You can call it whatever you want. It can be EX, BX, MX, LX. Just make sure you're consistent. That's all that really matters. Because when you write your pump aura parameter, you need to make sure that you're giving the same type of information. So consistency is key. And we're going to do a checkpoint. Basically, every 1 second you want to have checkpoints set up as well. Alright, and we're going to have a table that's going to be mapped, which basically the table that we're sourcing from. And that's going to be the GG test table, or the GG test schema. And we're going to use all tables from that schema. So we're just doing a wildcard to have that set up. Okay? And we're going to do WQ and save that file. So here we're going to do params, we're going to do edit params pump aura. Okay? And when you do an edit, it automatically creates a new params.rpm because it recognizes it. So make sure you create all of the parameter files through ggsi. And we're going to call this pump aura, right? Okay. So again, we're going to do extract, and we're on titles pump aura. We don't need to put a username and password through this one. So here is the essential key. This is a remote host, meaning the target server that you want to input. So we have the target as 0.11. And we're going to have the manager port, which is 7809. And we're going to place where the remote trail is located. Alright, there's one thing I want to kind of talk to you guys about before I continue. I just, basically, since the two databases are identical, in the sense where both of the information is stored, as you can see, it's 01 app product 12.1.2 OGG core, like it's the same, I can just go ahead and just use the present directory and then follow it up. But you need to identify where this is on the actual target server. So if it's not, if your directory structure is not the exact same, make sure you write the full directory path starting from the initial one, because it might not read. We're going to have checkpoint section. We're going to have the table again, which is GG test. Okay, so that is the pump aura. So we're going to add the extract extract tram log begin now. So this is how we actually create the extract. So we're going to add xtrail dir ex. And here we're going to go ahead and add the extract for pump aura. We're going to add the remote trail. Okay. Again, I've used the present directory. You need to make sure that the remote trail path is actually exists. So don't just use a shortcut like that. If it doesn't exist, make sure the directory you put the full directory path in there. We're gonna log into the database. Okay. Alright, so we're going to add tran data as well to it, okay? So basically it's supplemental logging for the particular table that we're using. So we're going to add tran data to GG test. Okay. Okay, so we are ready for, we've basically created the two extract and pump aura processes. And if you look at params pump aura, you see it's rt view params extract, and we have ex. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the target server and clear it out, and we'll do the same thing here. So this time we're going to create a replicate process. So what we want to do first, before we do anything, is we want to create a checkpoint table. So we want to log in as the GG owner. So we're going to add checkpoint table, and we have ggowner.checkpoint table. Okay, and we're going to do edit params.globals. Since we already created the GG schema before, we're going to have now checkpoint table, and it's going to be the same thing, dot checkpoint table. Okay. Alright, now we're going to create a replicate processes. We're going to call this rep aura. Okay. Same thing goes. You're going to call this, instead of saying extract, you're going to call this replicate, and the name of the replicate, and it's rep aura. Make sure you have assume target defs. You're going to have the user ID. You want to log in as the GG owner, and you have the password. Password again, GG owner. You want a discard file. Or we'll just have it -discard. Make sure what you want to do is you need to have a system in which it discards the remote trails, or else it'll keep on processing, or you keep on having new remote trails and it'll override it and it'll cause problems. So make sure you have the purge, and you want DDL include all. Okay, so you want to map GG test, okay, and you want the table or the target to be the same as well. Okay, so there you go. That's your rep aura. Now we want to go ahead and create it. So you want to add replicate rep aura, and then you want to have trail file, or the extract trail file, which is RT, and mention what the checkpoint table is. Okay, so you have the replicate created, and you have the two extract process created. So let's go ahead and start extract. Start extract extract. And we're going to start pump aura. Okay, and we're going to start the rep aura. Alright, so we're here and I have all the processes up and running. Actually, I had to kind of edit and cut a little bit of the troubleshooting steps. I ran into a problem, and I'm going to go through with you guys and tell you what happened. When I created and changed some of this extract process, the status was stopped, and for some reason, when I even tried to reset it, it just didn't come back up. So it was a really simple fix. If for any reason you you have a spelling error in the parameter file, like if you make a spelling error for user ID, or if you do a spelling error for xtrail or something like that, and you run into a problem, it's not going to start the extract process. So you'll have to stop it and then start it again. So you have to go start, and you do extract, extract, and in this case it's already started. If for some reason it's still not starting, make sure you stop the manager process, and then start bringing up the other processes, and that usually fixes it. It's just like a basic reset. So right now we have the two processes running on the target, on the source database, and we have the replicate process running on the target database. So now we are ready to do some data replication. So we'll log in as GG test to the database, and like I said, we've created a table called test, just test. That's not going to work, sorry. Like you can see 14 rows here, and the same thing goes. And we have select star from test. So now we're going to basically insert a value. Okay. I don't know, for some reason you're having a problem. There you go. So we'll take this statement and create like 3 extra rows. So if you do a count, you'll see that there's 17 rows. Ideally, it should now do the same thing. And if not, what we'll do is we'll go into here and we'll go into, okay, right now there's nothing active. And we'll go into here and we'll go as well stats extract. Okay. Okay, there you go. So you see total inserts are 3. It just takes a little while for it to recognize. Now if I go back, if you go into stats, rep aura / total, it'll give you kind of a summarized total. And it'll give you how many inserts there are, how many updates, how many deletes. So basically right now there's been 3 total operations. And if we go back into SQL Plus, and we go into GG test, we will see that now the count is 17. And we have same thing over here. And if you want to insert one more row, so we have 18. Again, this is node 1. We go here, give it a couple of seconds, and there you go. So it takes a little while, so eventually it's going to update it. So there you go. Again, this is a very basic, simplistic idea on how to do replication. If you read into the documentation, you can definitely see more information about how you can utilize GoldenGate. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me or leave a comment below, and I will be able to kind of help you out as much as I can. And if you run into problems or errors like that, I would definitely recommend to first, before you before you start freaking out and not knowing what to do, definitely look at this file. This is very, very crucial. This GGSER, or so it's GoldenGate server error log. It'll give you everything that you need to know. What problems are happening, what's going on. It'll give you a whole history of all the commands that are run, if there's any errors that happen. So it's a good place to start. I hope you liked the video as well. Alright, thanks for watching.